Young homeless girl begs Robert De Niro for help. He notices something important and takes action. Under the gray veil of a harsh city sky, a young homeless girl wandered the unforgiving streets with little more than a threadbare blanket and a haunted past trailing behind her like a shadow. She moved silently among bustling crowds, unseen and unheard, her eyes reflecting the burdens of a life that had lost its way. Every step she took was a testament to resilience, forged in the crucible of neglect and despair. The city around her pulsed with indifferent energy, its bright lights and endless noise belying the suffering hidden in its dark alleys. Born into a world where kindness was scarce and hardship was plenty, she had learned early that survival was a solitary battle. Each day was marked by an unyielding search for food, shelter, and a glimmer of hope in a world that seemed to have forsaken her. Her small hands, calloused by years of living rough, clutched onto a faded photograph of a family she barely remembered. Shadows of memories danced in her mind, reminding her of a past filled with warmth and promise before tragedy stripped her of everything she held dear. The girl had once known laughter and the gentle embrace of a caring guardian, but those cherished moments were now lost in the relentless tide of misfortune. In the labyrinth of the urban sprawl, she had become a silent observer, her presence barely a whisper amidst the clamor of everyday life. Despite the weight of loneliness that pressed upon her, she maintained an inner spark that defied the darkness encircling her fragile existence. The unyielding streets had taught her that hope could be as fleeting as the morning dew, yet she clutched it with the stubbornness of one who had nothing left to lose. Her eyes, though filled with sorrow, held a quiet determination that belied her tender years and battered spirit. Each day was a mosaic of struggles and small victories, moments of transient relief interspersed with overwhelming despair. In the dim glow of the streetlights, she would often pause and glance upward, silently pleading with the indifferent stars for a reprieve from her endless night. Her solitude was punctuated by fleeting interactions, a nod from a passerby, a brief smile from a fellow struggler, but these moments offered little solace in a world so brutally indifferent. The scars of her past were not only etched on her skin, but also deeply embedded within her soul, serving as a constant reminder of all that she had endured. With every shiver that ran down her spine in the cold of the night, she felt the sting of abandonment, a wound that refused to heal. Her journey through the urban wasteland was one of quiet endurance, marked by silent pleas for help that went unanswered by a society too busy to care. At times, the echoes of her childhood filled the empty spaces in her heart, a bittersweet symphony resonating with both pain and beauty. The fleeting kindness of a stranger, however small, would illuminate her dark world with a warmth that she clutched onto desperately. Life had not been gentle with her, and yet she managed to forge ahead, each step an act of defiance against a fate that sought to claim her spirit. The harsh reality of her existence was punctuated by nights spent huddled in doorways, her body trembling as the cold seeped deep into her bones. The world outside was a cacophony of laughter and chatter, a stark contrast to the silence of her solitary plight. The vibrant colors of life seemed reserved for those who had the luxury of hope, leaving her in a perpetual state of muted grays and blues. Amid the sprawling cityscape, her existence was both invisible and unmistakably poignant, a silent testament to the human capacity to endure. In quiet moments of introspection, she often wondered if destiny harbored a plan for her beyond the confines of the concrete jungle. The relentless passing of days served as both torment and teacher, imparting lessons of resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. Every act of survival was a quiet rebellion, a means to defy the forces that conspired to keep her in perpetual darkness. The chill of the night air was a physical and metaphorical reminder of the isolation that clung to her like a second skin. In the corners of her mind, memories of a kinder time sparked brief glimmers of optimism before being smothered by the harsh realities of her present. Each step was an uncertain journey into the unknown, a path fraught with hidden dangers and the ever-present threat of despair. She navigated the urban landscape with a blend of trepidation and resolve, her delicate form belying the strength simmering within. The cracked sidewalks and dimly lit back alleys bore silent witness to the countless struggles that had shaped her into who she was. As the city roared around her, she remained an emblem of quiet fortitude, a living reminder of the unyielding human spirit. The burden of her past weighed heavily upon her, yet she carried it with a dignity that defied the cruelty of her circumstances. Every cold gust of wind whispered the secrets of a life marred by loss and longing. The vast, indifferent city offered no sanctuary, only the stark realities of survival for a girl forgotten by society. The interplay of light and shadow on the pavement mirrored the inner conflict raging within her tender heart. Even in the midst of overwhelming solitude, a flicker of hope persisted, stubbornly resisting the encroaching darkness. The world around her served as a constant reminder of life's fragility, where beauty and suffering danced a perilous waltz. The relentless march of time did little to ease her pain, yet each new dawn carried the possibility of change, however slight. Deep within, an unspoken yearning for a future filled with kindness and promise began to take root. Her existence became a quiet challenge to the societal neglect that had cast her aside, a beacon of resolve in a world too often indifferent. The worn edges of her reality were softened by fleeting memories of a time when life held promise. Even as she traversed the corridors of despair, a fragile hope lingered in her eyes, hinting at the possibility of redemption. The harsh clatter of the city provided a backdrop to her silent prayers for a miracle that might lift her from the shadows. Every weary step was imbued with the determination of someone who had nothing left to lose yet everything to gain. In the quiet recesses of her heart, she nurtured a secret belief that even in the darkest moments, a sliver of light could guide her toward a better tomorrow. Her journey through the unforgiving streets stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, an epic tale of perseverance etched into every fiber of her being. In the midst of the city's chaotic pulse, fate interwove the lives of the young homeless girl and a celebrated figure of cinematic history. As she sought shelter beneath a flickering neon sign, her eyes glistened with unspoken sorrow and longing. At that very moment, Robert De Niro, clad in a worn leather jacket and carrying the weight of his own storied past, strode down the bustling street. He was drawn by a peculiar blend of determination and vulnerability that emanated from the corner where the girl stood. Her quiet plea, barely audible over the urban cacophony, resonated deeply within him. De Niro, known for his formidable presence on screen, found himself momentarily stripped of his usual reserve by the raw humanity of the scene before him. In that fleeting second, the crowded city seemed to pause, holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. The girl, sensing his gaze, hesitated before mustering the courage to speak, her voice a fragile whisper in the noise. Every syllable she uttered was laced with desperation and an earnest desire for help. De Niro's eyes softened as he listened, recognizing a spirit weathered by countless storms yet unbroken by the hardships of life. The moment was surreal, as if the universe had conspired to bring together two disparate souls at a crossroads of fate. In that brief exchange, the boundaries between celebrity and commoner dissolved into a shared human experience. He stepped closer, his presence exuding a warmth and assurance that contrasted sharply with the coldness of the city. The girl's guarded demeanor began to crumble, replaced by a glimmer of hope that perhaps salvation was at hand. Her eyes, wide with a mixture of disbelief and longing, met his with an intensity that spoke volumes of her silent struggles. In that instant, De Niro recognized not a fleeting moment of chance, but a profound call for compassion that transcended the superficial trappings of fame. He knelt down to her level, his voice gentle yet imbued with an authority born of experience and empathy. Every word he spoke carried the weight of understanding, as if he had seen the depths of despair and the heights of redemption. The busy street around them continued its relentless motion, but for a heartbeat, time stood still in their little corner of the world. The girl's plea evolved into a quiet conversation, a tentative bridge connecting two souls from radically different worlds. De Niro's attention was unwavering as he listened intently, absorbing every nuance of her story with genuine concern. His eyes, usually steely and composed, now shimmered with an empathetic warmth that belied his hardened exterior. A mixture of compassion and curiosity sparked within him, urging him to dig deeper into the mysteries of her past. The city lights flickered and danced around them, casting an otherworldly glow that highlighted the raw authenticity of their meeting. He reached out a tentative hand, inviting her to share her burdens without fear of judgment. In that moment, the line between actor and real-life savior blurred into insignificance. The girl hesitated, unsure whether to trust the stranger whose presence was both commanding and gentle. But the sincerity in his eyes coaxed her into a fragile conversation that blossomed with unexpected intimacy. Their words wove together tales of hardship, lost dreams, and the undying human desire for dignity. De Niro, accustomed to the scripted dialogues of film, found the spontaneity of their exchange both refreshing and profoundly moving. He spoke of second chances and the possibility of finding light even in the darkest corners of existence. The girl listened, her heart absorbing every word as if it were a lifeline thrown to a drowning soul. Every nuance in his voice resonated with authenticity, dissolving the barriers of mistrust that had long shielded her heart. The busy world around them faded into a muted background as their shared moment took center stage. In that intimate conversation, the harsh realities of the street softened, replaced by a glimmer of shared hope. De Niro's steady presence became a beacon in the swirling tempest of urban chaos, offering solace in a way few could. The girl, moved by his genuine care, found the courage to recount fragments of her past that she had long buried beneath layers of fear. Her voice trembled as she unveiled memories of lost innocence and dreams that had once soared high. De Niro, with quiet reverence, acknowledged each fragment of her story, affirming her worth with each gentle word. By the end of that fateful encounter, an unspoken promise had been forged between them, a vow of understanding and assistance that would change both of their lives forever. The conversation between them deepened as Robert De Niro's keen gaze began to unearth secrets hidden beneath the surface of the girl's sorrowful expression. In the soft glow of streetlights, he detected a spark of brilliance amid the sorrow, a silent defiance that whispered of untold stories and hidden depths. Every subtle shift in her expression, every tremor in her voice, hinted at a past layered with complexity far beyond the trials of homelessness. The tender gleam in her eyes, though clouded by despair, carried the unmistakable mark of a once vibrant spirit that had been dimmed by life's relentless hardships. As they talked, De Niro sensed that her vulnerability was not solely a product of circumstance, but a window into a rich tapestry of experiences that had both broken and defined her. There was a captivating intensity in the way she spoke of fleeting moments of joy, interwoven with the recurring themes of loss and resilience that marked her existence. Her recollections, though fragmented, painted a portrait of a child who had once possessed dreams as vivid as the colors of a sunset before the world turned them to grayscale. Amid her words, he recognized hints of a lost identity, a young mind capable of greatness if only given a chance to flourish. The careful cadence of her speech, delicate and tentative, belied a strength that had weathered storms far beyond what the naked eye could perceive. De Niro felt that her heart was a repository of memories and untapped potential, a vault of emotions waiting to be unlocked by the gentle hands of understanding. In every pause, there lay the echo of a secret yearning for a life unburdened by the stigma of poverty and neglect. The cadence of her narrative revealed subtle layers of intellect and creativity that had once been nurtured in the warmth of care. As she recounted snippets of her past, a remarkable clarity emerged, suggesting that her current plight was not the sum total of her identity. A profound sadness underpinned her words, yet there was an undeniable luminescence in the way she described fleeting moments of happiness. De Niro found himself captivated not just by her sorrow, but by the resilience that shone through, a testament to the human capacity to survive even the most brutal of trials. Each carefully chosen word carried the weight of unspoken dreams, as if she was whispering a promise to herself of a brighter future. Her eyes, glistening with unspoken emotion, flickered with the ghost of ambitions that had been suppressed by the harsh realities of life. In the depths of her gaze, he perceived a silent dialogue between the girl she was and the person she could become if given the opportunity. The subtle interplay of hope and despair in her expression resonated deeply with him, stirring memories of his own battles fought in silence. There was a spark of intellectual curiosity in the way she questioned the world, a spark that defied the narrative of hopelessness imposed by her circumstances. Her voice, soft yet filled with determination, spoke of a hidden reservoir of strength that had been buried under layers of neglect. De Niro listened intently as she spoke of moments when the world had almost recognized her worth, only to be overshadowed by the weight of misfortune. The narrative she wove was intricate and fragile, like a tapestry with threads of both sorrow and potential glimmering through the dark. In her reminiscences, there lay a subtle challenge to the assumptions made about those society had abandoned. Her memory, though battered by years of hardship, held vivid flashes of a life once brimming with promise and possibility. Every nuance of her tone hinted at a mind that was not merely surviving, but quietly questioning the very nature of fate and destiny. The echoes of her former life, scattered like pieces of a forgotten puzzle, suggested that she was more than the sum of her present miseries. There was an undeniable intelligence in her observations, a discerning critique of a society that had long overlooked her true potential. Her narrative revealed that behind the facade of despair lay a person capable of profound insight and passionate creativity. In the space between her words, De Niro discerned a silent plea for recognition and redemption that went far deeper than the visible scars of poverty. The intricate interplay of light and shadow in her eyes spoke volumes about the battles waged within her soul. Each detail of her recollection was imbued with a quiet dignity that belied the hardships she had endured. The timbre of her voice carried a subtle melody of hope, one that had been nearly drowned out by the noise of neglect. Through the cadence of her memories, a story of lost dreams and hidden brilliance began to unfold. Her careful articulation of past experiences served as both a lament and a testament to the enduring human spirit. De Niro marveled at the contradiction embodied in her, a fragile figure marred by the scars of abuse yet animated by a luminous inner strength. The unspoken layers of her story resonated with the universal theme of overcoming, as she embodied both the pain of the past and the promise of a future reborn. Every glance she offered was laden with meaning, revealing depths that no one had taken the time to explore until now. The cadence of her recollections was measured and deliberate, as though she was choosing each word with the utmost care to preserve its significance. It was as if she was inviting him to join her in a quiet rebellion against the label society had affixed to her. Her story was not one of simple tragedy, but of complex beauty intermingled with the harsh truths of a life lived on the margins. The interplay between her vulnerability and her inner strength formed a narrative that was both heart-wrenching and inspiring. As she shared her past, the raw authenticity of her voice transformed the conversation into a sacred space of mutual understanding. De Niro felt the stirrings of a connection that transcended the superficial, reaching into the realm of shared human frailty and fortitude. The subtle glimmers of humor interlaced with her memories served as poignant reminders that even in the depths of despair, the human spirit could find moments of levity. There was an undeniable artistry in the way she recounted her journey, a delicate balance of realism and wistful hope. In that intimate space, her inner world unfurled like a rare flower blooming amidst concrete and desolation. The layers of her narrative spoke of a lifetime of suppressed potential, waiting patiently for the right moment to emerge. Every word she spoke was a brushstroke painting a portrait of a soul that had suffered, yet never truly surrendered to defeat. The profound vulnerability in her tone resonated with De Niro, stirring within him a desire to protect and nurture the spark he now recognized. In that shared moment, the city around them receded into the background, leaving only the luminous thread of human connection to guide them forward. The echoes of her hidden depths promised that her story was far from over, and that the true measure of her strength lay in the undiscovered chapters of her life. The delicate interplay between memory and hope, pain and perseverance, revealed a richness that defied the harsh judgments of the world outside. Her voice, though quiet, carried the weight of centuries of untold stories, a silent invocation for her worth to be acknowledged and celebrated. The realization that her apparent fragility concealed a reservoir of untapped potential deepened De Niro's resolve to see her through the darkness, fostering a connection that transcended appearances and touched the essence of what it meant to be human. Robert De Niro, moved by the undeniable urgency and raw emotion he had witnessed, resolved to act decisively in order to alter the course of the young girl's life. With a heart stirred by compassion and a mind sharpened by years of introspection, he carefully considered the delicate balance between offering help and respecting her autonomy. Determined to dig beneath the surface of her outward despair, he began a quiet inquiry into the tangled web of circumstances that had led her to the streets. In a city where anonymity often shielded the vulnerable, he sought to peel back the layers of neglect and hardship that defined her existence. His first step was to reach out to local social services, discreetly inquiring about any known cases that might align with the girl's poignant story. While navigating bureaucratic channels that were often indifferent to the pleas of the forgotten, he maintained an unwavering focus on uncovering the truth behind her circumstances. Through careful discussions with community outreach workers, he learned that her story was interwoven with tales of family turmoil, personal loss, and systemic failure. As he pieced together fragments of her past, De Niro felt a growing determination to not only understand her struggles, but to offer a tangible path out of the darkness that had long enshrouded her life. Every conversation, every document he encountered, served as both a window into a world of shattered dreams and a catalyst for his resolve to create change. His inquiries led him to the abandoned corners of the city, where whispers of her history were spoken in hushed tones among those who had witnessed her plight. Alongside local advocates, he organized discreet meetings that allowed him to listen to the voices of people who had once known her before the streets became her home. In these gatherings, the narrative of a lost childhood and unforeseen hardships emerged, each account reinforcing his belief that her potential had been unjustly suppressed. He meticulously documented every detail, aware that the evidence he gathered could be instrumental in breaking the cycle of neglect. At every turn, he balanced his role as a compassionate helper with the necessity of respecting the girl's privacy and dignity. His investigation was not merely an administrative task. It was a deeply personal quest to reclaim the spark of life that had been dimmed by relentless adversity. The intensity of his commitment led him to consult with professionals in the fields of psychology, social work, and education, each providing insights that enriched his understanding of her unique situation. He attended community meetings and support group sessions, where he listened to discussions about systemic failures and individual triumphs that mirrored her own struggles. Each conversation further solidified his resolve to bridge the gap between a society that had abandoned her and a future that might still hold promise. His nights became a tapestry of careful research and heartfelt reflection, as he pored over records and listened intently to the silent stories carried in the voices of those who cared. The quiet determination in his eyes belied the inner turmoil that came from witnessing the consequences of societal neglect. Every piece of evidence he uncovered, whether a faded photograph or a barely remembered name, served as a testament to the resilience of a spirit that had not been completely extinguished. With the precision of a seasoned investigator and the compassion of a devoted friend, he connected disparate dots that others had long overlooked. His actions began to draw attention from local activists who recognized the potential for transformative change in her narrative. Collaborative efforts with these dedicated individuals started to form a support network that transcended the usual confines of charity and fostered genuine empowerment. In the process of reaching out, he encountered a myriad of stories from people whose lives had been similarly derailed by circumstances beyond their control. This growing chorus of voices, united by shared hardship, filled him with a renewed sense of purpose and urgency. He recognized that every investigation he conducted was not solely about one girl's past, but also about the collective failures that left countless others in despair. His methodical approach was imbued with a rare blend of empathy and pragmatism, a testament to his commitment to not only understand but to heal. The magnitude of the task did not daunt him. Rather, it kindled a fierce determination to rectify a broken system from within. Every interview and every data point gathered reinforced his belief that her inner strength was the key to unlocking a future where dignity and opportunity prevailed. With each passing day, his efforts began to illuminate a path forward, suggesting that redemption was possible even in the bleakest of circumstances. His journey into the depths of her past revealed a mosaic of forgotten promises and resilient hope, each piece urging him to continue his mission. Through the long hours spent in dimly lit offices and the countless late-night phone calls, He built a dossier that was as much a chronicle of her trials as it was a blueprint for her salvation. The evidence amassed not only chronicled a life marred by hardship, but also showcased her capacity for greatness when nurtured with care and respect. In his heart, he knew that the transformation he envisioned was contingent upon the collective will of a community to stand against systemic apathy. Each step he took in his investigation was a deliberate act of defiance against a society that had long turned its back on its most vulnerable members. His resolve was unwavering, even as the process unearthed painful truths and confronted him with the brutal realities of institutional neglect. The complexity of her story compelled him to leave no stone unturned, driven by the conviction that understanding was the precursor to meaningful intervention. He consulted legal experts and reached out to advocates who specialized in child welfare, each interaction providing another piece of the intricate puzzle. His commitment to unearthing every facet of her history transformed him into both a guardian and a relentless seeker of justice. In private moments, he reflected on the delicate balance between intervention and empowerment, striving to ensure that his actions would enable her to reclaim her autonomy. The unfolding investigation became a personal crusade, a mission to dismantle the barriers that had long confined her potential. Every new revelation was met with a measured response, combining careful planning with the urgency of a man who had witnessed too much suffering. His efforts were not marked by grand gestures, but by a series of deliberate, compassionate acts that slowly began to rewrite her narrative. With each piece of the puzzle that fell into place, the contours of a hopeful future emerged from the shadows of her past. His actions, though quietly executed, reverberated through the community, inspiring others to question the status quo. The determination in his gaze was matched only by the meticulous care with which he handled the sensitive details of her story. As he navigated the labyrinthine corridors of support systems and bureaucratic inertia, his conviction remained steadfast. He envisioned a future where her strength could be harnessed not as a symbol of despair, but as a beacon of hope for others trapped in similar cycles of neglect. The culmination of his investigative journey promised not just a rescue, but the transformation of an entire narrative of abandonment into one of empowerment and resilience. In the echo of his decisive actions, the city itself seemed to murmur a cautious promise of redemption for those who dared to dream beyond their circumstances. Each measured step he took in his quest to understand and uplift her was a testament to the transformative power of compassion and determination. With every new connection made and every truth uncovered, his resolve grew stronger, fueling a movement that extended far beyond the boundaries of one life. The synthesis of his investigative efforts and heartfelt concern laid the groundwork for a future where the scars of neglect could begin to heal under the light of newfound hope. His commitment, born out of a deep-seated belief in the human capacity to rise above adversity, had become an indomitable force against the forces of despair. The investigation was more than a pursuit of facts. It was an act of love, a deliberate confrontation of the harsh realities that had once defined her existence. And so, with the weight of responsibility tempered by unwavering empathy, he stepped forward into the unknown, ready to transform the girl's narrative into one of enduring redemption. In a surprising twist of fate, the girl and Robert De Niro embarked on a journey that defied all conventional expectations, bound together by a shared determination to overcome their respective struggles. The alliance between them unfolded slowly, nurtured by long conversations in quiet corners of the city, where time seemed to pause and listen. With cautious optimism, they set out to explore not only the tangible streets that had long defined her reality, but also the hidden corridors of her past that whispered secrets of lost dreams. Their journey was marked by moments of profound vulnerability, where each word exchanged became a stepping stone toward healing and understanding. As they traveled through bustling urban landscapes and silent suburban retreats, they discovered that the bond between them was forged in the fires of mutual compassion and unspoken hope. Every new day brought with it a blend of excitement and trepidation as they navigated unfamiliar terrain, both geographically and emotionally. The girl, once resigned to the relentless grip of despair, now found herself encouraged by De Niro's unwavering belief in her potential to rise above her circumstances. In the soft light of dawn, they would often share quiet moments of reflection, their conversation weaving together the threads of a shared future that was both fragile and resilient. The journey was not without obstacles. Bureaucratic indifference and societal prejudices lurked around every corner, threatening to derail their progress. Yet, with each setback, their determination only deepened, reinforcing their commitment to carve out a space where hope could flourish. In the midst of crowded streets and chaotic marketplaces, they sought out small sanctuaries of calm where healing conversations could take place. The girl's guarded heart began to open, revealing layers of intelligence, creativity, and strength that had long been obscured by hardship. Niro, equally transformed by the experience, rediscovered his own capacity for empathy and the power of genuine connection beyond the silver screen. As they encountered kindred spirits along the way, fellow travelers who had also experienced the brunt of life's cruelty, their alliance grew into a network of support that transcended individual struggles. Each shared smile, every gesture of kindness from strangers, served as a reminder that the human spirit was capable of extraordinary resilience. Their journey took them through neighborhoods where the remnants of faded grandeur still clung to abandoned buildings, silent testaments to dreams left unfulfilled. Amid these relics of the past, the duo envisioned a future where beauty could be reborn from the ruins of neglect. In quiet moments at roadside diners and late-night cafes, they planned their next steps, their dialogue a blend of pragmatic strategy and heartfelt aspirations. The girl's laughter, once a rarity amid the hardships of street life, began to echo softly against the backdrop of their shared adventures. With every mile traveled, her innate spark of hope grew brighter, fed by the encouragement of someone who had seen the worst of life and still believed in the possibility of redemption. Niro, ever the quiet mentor, shared stories of his own journey, a tapestry of success and struggle that resonated deeply with her emerging dreams. Their alliance became a living testament to the transformative power of genuine human connection, a beacon amid a landscape often marred by despair. At times, the road ahead seemed uncertain, shrouded in the mists of past failures and present challenges. Yet the pair pressed on with quiet resolve. They visited community centers and engaged with local activists, their presence a catalyst for conversations about change and the urgent need for compassion. Every encounter along the way revealed new facets of the city's complex character, from the stark reality of poverty to the quiet dignity of those who had learned to endure. The girl, once defined solely by her hardships, began to see herself through a new lens, one that recognized her inherent value and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Niro's guidance was both gentle and firm, a steadying influence that helped her navigate the treacherous waters of self-doubt and societal rejection. Their journey, though fraught with moments of uncertainty and pain, was ultimately an affirmation of life's unpredictable beauty and the strength found in unity. In the glow of twilight, as they rested in the quiet corners of a city that had once seemed so unforgiving, they found solace in each other's company. Their alliance, an unexpected fusion of celebrity compassion and street-honed resilience, began to ripple outward, touching the lives of those who had long been ignored by society. Each step they took was imbued with the conviction that together, they could challenge the prevailing narrative of despair. The girl's once muted voice now resonated with clarity and determination, a powerful counterpoint to the silence of her earlier years. Niro, too, was transformed by the experience, his eyes reflecting a renewed sense of purpose that extended beyond his storied career. As the seasons changed, so too did the contours of their shared journey, marked by the bittersweet interplay of loss and renewal. They encountered moments of unexpected beauty, a shared sunset over a quiet river, the simple pleasure of a warm meal shared in a modest shelter, that underscored the possibility of joy even in the midst of adversity. Their conversations often delved into the realm of dreams and aspirations, as they mapped out a future that was as uncertain as it was hopeful. Each challenge they faced was met with a resolve to overcome, their spirits bolstered by the knowledge that they were not alone in their struggle. In the reflections of passing strangers and the murmur of city life, they saw echoes of their own journey, a reminder that every soul carried its own story of survival. The alliance between them grew stronger with each shared experience, becoming a quiet revolution against the forces that had once sought to define them by their misfortune. In moments of quiet contemplation, The girl marveled at the unexpected turn her life had taken, the serendipity of finding an ally in someone as unlikely as a celebrated actor. De Niro's steady presence provided a sense of stability in an otherwise turbulent world, his actions a quiet pledge to help rewrite her destiny. Their shared journey became a tapestry woven from threads of hope, courage, and the unyielding determination to rise above a legacy of neglect. In the midst of their travels, they encountered diverse communities, each with its own struggles and stories, that enriched their understanding of the broader human experience. The exchange of ideas and experiences with these communities further fueled their resolve to advocate for change and to nurture the seed of hope within the girl. With each passing day, their alliance deepened, evolving from a simple act of kindness into a formidable partnership built on trust and mutual respect. The girl's eyes, once clouded by resignation, now shone with the light of possibility, a silent testament to the transformative power of genuine support. Together, they forged a path that defied expectations, one that wove together the disparate threads of their lives into a coherent tapestry of resilience and hope. As the journey continued, every moment, whether steeped in joy or sorrow, contributed to the gradual emergence of a new narrative, a story where the strength of the human spirit reigned supreme. In the quiet hours before dawn, as the city slept and the promise of a new day lingered on the horizon, their alliance stood as an enduring symbol of transformation. The road they traveled was long and often treacherous, yet each step was a victory against the forces of despair that had once threatened to engulf them. With unwavering determination, they embraced the challenges ahead, confident in the knowledge that together, they could create a future defined not by hardship, but by hope and renewal. Their journey of unlikely alliance had become a pilgrimage of the heart, a testament to the power of empathy and the courage to dream in the face of overwhelming odds. In the soft glow of a hopeful dawn, the city seemed to breathe a new life as the transformative power of redemption began to weave its intricate tapestry around the lives of the girl and Robert De Niro, marking the emergence of a future where hope triumphed over despair. Every step they took together now resonated with a profound sense of purpose, as the lessons of their past fueled a fierce determination to rebuild a life once thought irretrievably lost. The remnants of hardship slowly melted away in the warmth of shared victories and gentle reassurances that echoed in every corner of their renewed existence. With each sunrise, the girl discovered new facets of her identity, long suppressed beneath layers of neglect and sorrow, emerging as a symbol of resilience and unyielding strength. De Niro's steady guidance and compassionate mentorship nurtured her blossoming spirit, encouraging her to embrace her potential with a courage that defied the darkness of her earlier days. The journey of transformative redemption was not without its lingering shadows, yet every challenge they encountered became a catalyst for growth and a stepping stone toward liberation. The once forgotten alleys and desolate corners of the city now sparkled with the promise of renewal, as the community rallied around their shared vision of change. In quiet moments of reflection, the girl recalled the painful memories that had once defined her, now reinterpreted as chapters in a story of survival and rebirth. The compassionate intervention of De Niro had transformed not only her external reality, but also the inner landscape of her heart, where seeds of hope began to take root and flourish. Their collective journey had evolved into a pilgrimage of healing, a testament to the transformative power of empathy and steadfast commitment to one's own redemption. Each passing day unveiled new opportunities for growth, as obstacles that once loomed large were met with the gentle strength of persistence and determination. In the glow of community support, they found that even the most scarred souls could be mended through acts of kindness and the relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow. The city, once a relentless backdrop of indifference, now resonated with the melodies of possibility and the promise of second chances. Every smile shared, every tear shed in the embrace of understanding, further cemented the belief that redemption was not merely a distant dream but an attainable reality. As they forged ahead, the girl's once muted voice blossomed into a confident song of defiance against the stigma of her past. De Niro's unwavering faith in her capabilities became the cornerstone of a transformation that redefined what it meant to rise above one's circumstances. Their intertwined destinies unfolded like the pages of an epic novel, where every sorrowful chapter was balanced by a crescendo of hope and renewal. In the sanctuaries of community centers and the quiet solace of well-worn coffee shops, they discovered allies who, too, had tasted the bitterness of loss and the sweetness of rebirth. The transformation was both gradual and profound. As the girl reclaimed her narrative with every step, she took toward a future filled with promise and dignity. Each new experience, whether a moment of triumph or a test of perseverance, added another vibrant thread to the tapestry of her evolving identity. The echoes of her past struggles became the driving force behind her determination to advocate for herself and others who had been overlooked by society. De Niro, whose life had been a mosaic of cinematic triumphs and personal challenges, found in her a mirror of his own journey of redemption. Together, they dismantled the barriers erected by a world that had long cast aside those deemed unworthy, replacing them with bridges of understanding and solidarity. Their shared mission ignited a spark within the hearts of many, inspiring a movement that celebrated resilience over resignation. The transformative redemption they embraced was not a destination but a continuous journey, a series of rebirths that unfolded with every act of courage and every moment of vulnerability. In the quiet hum of the city's awakening, the girl's newfound self-assurance radiated outward, touching the lives of those around her with the gentle promise of hope. De Niro's legacy, once confined to the silver screen, expanded into the realm of real-world impact as he became a beacon of compassion and a testament to the transformative power of redemption. Their path, though fraught with the remnants of old wounds, now shimmered with the possibility of healing, each step a declaration that the human spirit could triumph over even the deepest despair. The narrative of their lives, once marred by tragedy and isolation, was now being rewritten with the ink of courage, resilience, and a shared commitment to change. As the community witnessed the evolution of a young soul reclaiming her identity, a collective hope began to stir, reverberating through the streets like a quiet revolution. The transformative journey was imbued with moments of introspection and celebration, where every setback was met with a renewed determination to rise higher. In the soft cadence of evening conversations and the laughter shared in humble gatherings, the promise of a better future was gently affirmed with each passing moment. The girl's eyes, once clouded by the weight of her past, now sparkled with the light of possibility, a luminous beacon that signaled the dawn of her redemption. With every act of self-discovery, she dismantled the shackles of her previous life, replacing them with the wings of newfound freedom and hope. De Niro's mentorship was both a guiding force and a mirror reflecting the innate strength that had always resided within her, waiting for the chance to emerge. Their intertwined stories became a powerful testament to the idea that every soul, no matter how broken, holds the potential for rebirth and renewal. In the vast canvas of the city, their journey of transformative redemption painted a picture of a community reawakening to the possibilities of compassion and shared humanity. Each interaction, whether a whispered word of encouragement or a bold act of defiance against past injustices, reinforced the belief that change was not only possible but inevitable. The scars of their histories, once symbols of defeat, were now badges of honor that testified to their survival and growth. In the interplay of light and shadow, where past sorrows blended seamlessly with future hopes, they discovered that redemption was a mosaic of moments, each one a spark that ignited a greater flame of transformation. The girl's transformation, nurtured by De Niro's unwavering support, became an emblem of resilience that challenged the preconceived notions of what it meant to overcome adversity. As they ventured further along this winding path, every lesson learned served as a stepping stone toward a future defined by empowerment and healing. The resilience embedded in her soul shone as a testament to the indomitable nature of the human spirit, capable of turning even the darkest chapters into narratives of triumph. In the soft murmur of the night and the gentle caress of the early morning breeze, the story of transformative redemption echoed like a timeless ballad, a melody that celebrated the beauty of second chances and the eternal possibility of renewal. With each heartbeat and every shared glance, the girl and De Niro stitched together a future that honored the past while daring to dream of a horizon where hope reigned supreme, marking the ultimate victory of the human spirit over the harshest of adversities.